now I'm hearing some crackling. Maybe it's the streaming. Okay, so when we last left our expedition, first of all, Robert the Fox is a very interesting historical character. King Robert the Fox of Sicily. Well, he was a Duke of Apulia, but we conquered a few things before we started the stream and created the Kingdom of Sicily. Because I'd been watching Il Gattopardo, the leopard, or the serval, the cat of Sicilia, a famous Sicilian aristocratic novel by, what was his name? Giuseppe Tomasi. Something like that. Il Gattopardo. Giuseppe Tomasi de Lampedusa. Yeah. Giuseppe. Oh. Mahalo. So, it's a fun show that I've been just watching. And it encouraged me to, maybe I should just move this over here. I was thinking maybe this such like wouldn't be quite comfortable, and maybe it would still stream okay. Just put the microphone a little bit closer, probably. Yeah. This game is awesome because it's just like going back into my ancestry. Basically, past about like 500 years ago, pretty much all Europeans share common ancestors. So, you know, pretty much you're related to everybody in this game if you're a European. I mean, anywhere in this area anyway. You're pretty much related to everybody here. Because this is 1,000 years ago, and at that point you have so many ancestors that pretty much everybody who was reproductive in Europe, if you're a Western European descent, you know, Western, Central European descent, Northern European descent, like all this whole area, genetically, these are all your ancestors pretty much. chances are, you know. Depending on how much incest there is in your family. All right, well, anyway. This guy made me... Okay, so this is our main trouble here right now. This guy, Count Richard of Capua, he is a fiend. I conquered him. Obviously, he didn't like that. And he claimed the city of Napoli back from me, which he did not own before. But it is within his rightful realm, I guess. And I dueled him. He is a terrible duelist. Look at that. And I am a god among men in the martial category. And yet I lost this duel to this idiot. And made a fool of myself at court. Which we've been trying to build into a respectable, beautiful court. We're spending a lot on it. We're spending maximum on it. So that we're ranked second in the world in the grandeur of our court. Only second to the Basileus of the Byzantine Empire. That's pretty good credentials, if you ask me. We just have married off our daughter, one of them, to the King of France, and the other to the King of... betrothed to the King of England. The King of England is Robert Curthose, son of, apparently, William the Conqueror. Robert Curthose. Little boot. Curthose. Curthose. Yes, get it? It means little foot. Oh, little boot. It's got a little Curthose. Curthose. It's very funny. The people of the Northland, they traveled over here, and they became the Normans, because they were Northmans. They were Northmen, so they became Norman, because people were lazy and they wouldn't say Northmen all the time. They say Norman. They're just Normen. Norman. Northern men. These northern men were the people who spawned our fellow. He is a Norman. He is a northern man. And he started off actually as a highwayman and basically raided his way down here, stole his shit in the southern Italy, established a kingdom and now we're basically living as essentially the last gasps of the Vikings down in the Mediterranean. Like the Varangians are, they're pretty much finished. But the history of the Varangian Guard and the Byzantine Empire and all down the Volga here, they also went around this way. And they came to Sicilia. Well, I just reconquered Islamic Sicilia, so that we will have a unified Sicily. We're trying to manage our domain so that it doesn't become... I try to let these games play naturally, and I try to play by the ruler's traits. I try to roleplay the ruler, basically. And he's a crafty warlord, so he's been craftily snatching up every piece of land he can get, and snatched up Malta last. and after he lost Napoli. And he wants to get rid of this guy, but he's not skullduggery enough to want to murder him, try to murder him. He's not that kind of guy, Robert the Fox. He may be a fox, but he's not an assassin. He'll fight you on the battlefield, you know? So, we gotta find some other way. Maybe we can use one of our council members to create a claim for us on that land so that we can demand it from him. Demand it back from him, and hopefully he'll rebel, and then we will what does fabricate claim on the Napoli. I want Napoli back because he stole it from me in this duel. He probably wouldn't. He speaks the language, the oil. That means the language where they say oui, oui et non, instead of ok. In southern France, the Languedoc, the word for yes was ok, and in northern France, the word for yes was oui. Languedoc is the language of yes. Which yes you use, which kind of yes you use. England. Oh, Sicilian. Well, you might see that I'm just slow-paced at making some decisions right now. I'm just surveying the positions of our empire. Our queen, who historically was rather militant and capable, she's seen here as being a flamboyant trickster, which I don't think... I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. Sadistic is probably true. But her marshals, you know, she led some military actions in real life. But right now she's helping me manage my domain so that my domain may be 6 large. So that we may have a good income from our land holding directly. And this large vassal, Salerno, Duke Roger of Salerno, this is my brother. And let's see, how does the inheritance go? The inheritance goes to my son, Prince Roger. Roger of Sicily. The Prince of Fashion. Yeah, yes. He stole my clothes while I was in the bath, so he became the Prince of Fashion. In these games, you must know everything about everyone. You must become one of them. Live among them in your mind. It's as much a tool for time traveling into the past and engaging with one's ancestors as it is a game. So here we can see that there's some religious conflicts in our land. There's orthodoxy here, because this is really was Magna Graecia. Magna Graecia, Greater Greece. And we've retaken it, made it Catholic. I mean, it was retaken and made Catholic. And there's these holdouts of Greek culture. And down here we have this holdout of Islamic culture from the Arabic invasion of Sicily. as well as Malta. But we need to convert these. So he's fabricating a claim for us right now. We won't have him do that. And we won't do it while their county control is so low. We'll try to raise our county control with our marshal. Send out Duke Roger, our brother, and the master of horse. We'll send him out to take care of business, as it were. To take care of business, as it were. It's all good. Now, shall we see what shall happen if I begin to run? Duchy titles. Houses. deHauteville. DiBaggio. Sounds like Bilbo Baggins. DiBaggio. Screwed it all, practically bag end over here. I do have claims on Beneveneto and Spoleto. But I don't want to conquer Benevento or Spoleto for some time. I want this to not be under the control of the papacy if I'm going to try to take it. With my leave, my son Roger and his wetness parade into my chamber. Alberada poses like a herald and proclaims, "My liege, you witness a monumental occasion. Roger has a mighty gift to offer you." Go ahead. Father, I lost a tooth. My son proudly presents his toothless smile. Yeah, let's have a feast. Because I will lose stress. I don't have any stress anyway. You gain 35 prestige if we have him keep the good luck charm. Gain 15 stress. Because I'm ambitious. Gives us a small prestige bonus monthly for 60 years. Well, we don't have any stress, so let's take a minor stress hit, I guess. we're pretty not stressed. We just finished taking over basically all that you see before you. All that the light touches is our kingdom. The kingdom that will become known as the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, but right now is just known as the Kingdom of Sicily. Which is really the kingdom of Robert the Fox deHauteville, carved out by blood and gumption. Pure guts. He just frickin' went for it, and he got it. And that's how you get there. And his daughter is now the Queen of France. Queen Emma of France is his eldest child. Prince Bohemond of Sicilia. We should find him a royal spouse, shall we not? What's the highest rank? No, certainly not. Prince Bohemond, did I give him land? He's my court brewmaster, so I don't really want him to move away. I suppose that's true. If I marry him off to some bimbo. Well, who has the highest stats? Can we get some good... What's some good breeding we could do? Anyone with a good trait? just a good genetic trait where you're just like, oh, they've got an intelligent family. No, none at all. Okay. There's no traits. Nobody has any traits here. Like, basically none. What is... Okay. Personality traits, but we need the genetic traits. Like this. Robust. He's robust. But we need a woman who will create children just as robust as this man. We need him to, you know, reproduce, repopulate the world. So let's go this way instead. Find character. We'll say that they must be... Well, first of all, they must be... They could still be a child if they're 14 or something. We could betroth them and marry them in a couple years. Female. They should be unmarried. They should have inheritable traits. None. None anywhere. No matching characters. There's no females with inheritable traits. What? A top realm. Oh. All. Yeah, we'll look outside diplomatic range, inside diplomatic range. Highest stewardship. A genius. 40. It's too old for breeding. It would be great to breed for intelligence or for strength, like Amazonian would be a great trait to have, but we need someone who's younger. Maybe you need someone who's got some kind of trait that's got maybe about 15. She's comely. Danish. She's vengeful, generous, wrathful, rowdy, comely. Oh, you don't see the game? What? My OBS shows it. Oh, let me check the stream on my phone, I guess. It says no see game. My OBS. No, it shows the game on the stream. What are you talking about? I don't understand. No see game. What does he mean? Game is seen as far as I can tell. Edgar Hilario, 79. No see game. What is... Okay, so... It's streaming properly to YouTube. I don't know, I guess it's Twitch. Twitch stream not correct. I guess I should do my due diligence, guys. I'm a terrible streamer, so... Oh. Is Is my stream on? Oh, it's just black on Twitch. Is my stream on? That's weird, huh? Oh, it's just black on Twitch. Is my stream on? What do we do with that? Oh, it's just black on Twitch. All right. Why is it black on Twitch? Why doesn't Twitch accept my stream? Should be here. Wow. I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm a terrible streamer. I'm trying. I'm trying, but you know. What do you mean offline? What do you mean offline? I'm streaming right now. Restream isn't doing it properly or something? Why is the stream offline? I don't stream preview. Well, I literally don't know what to do about that because it's working on all the other platforms. Twitch is just angry about this one. I don't know. Guess I'll take it down off Twitch. Oh well. Anyway. Das Pentilius Mulinida. Now, someone who's short by age. There. We have 19 and beautiful. Beautiful's good. Fornicator. Master. Arrogant, content, callous. She's a callous fornicator. It's beautiful. I mean, I know the type. You know what I mean? But, is that good for our boy? I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like we gotta find him either a strong or smart woman. Look at this girl. She's brave, but she's paranoid and stubborn. She's a good, adequate bargainer. She eagerly revels. She's a pilgrim. And she's a frickin' Amazon. Combined with our robust trait, that's looking pretty good to me. 21 years old, Hungarian. That's not bad. Let's shop around. I like intelligence. I like intelligence traits. But she's a sadist, which is always... I try to avoid things that are like sinful, terrible things to be. you know, like I would in normal people in real life, you know. I'm like, I would see that in a woman. If I was trying to help my son find a girl to marry, and it's like he has tons of options, but you know, if she's a sadistic, terrible person, sadistic, greedy zealot, then she might be an astute intellectual, but she's not gonna be fun to be married to. So I think we'll marry him to Sicily. We're gonna arrange a marriage between him and King. He's gonna lose some prestige, but you know what? He's disinherited anyway. I don't really care about that. But we might get some really good congenital traits and some of our bloodline going down that direction. And that's cool. So let's do that. Casentine flux, Byzantine boils. Oy vey. Spread nearby. Infections in Attica. Okay. Civitas Castelli. Civitas Castelli. Well, they're not terrible plagues, and they're not threatening us too directly, so I don't really care about that. Okay, royal court activities. I think that everything's so expensive for us right now that we should probably just build up some money, wait and see. Let's just rest on our laurels for a few years, I guess. Because gladly accept my marriage proposal. Great. I think that you'll be a great wife to my son because you're brave. You might be paranoid and stubborn, but at least you're fun to be around, you know? And you're trying to be a good person somehow, you know? And you're an absolute Amazon. So that's awesome. So you can marry my son. There you go. It's that easy. You know? She's got some good traits. We can overlook her bad traits. Well, we gotta increase our legitimacy. Dissolution faction? Count Richard? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, this guy, obviously. I mean, I could try. Dread. It's tyranny, though. I won't be a tyrant. I'm a fox. I'll outfox him. I'll outfox him somehow. In Sicily. Outfox the old guy. It'll be great. We'll just do what we have to do. Oh, King Robert the Fox. Isn't that what you need in a time like this? Queen Sicilgaita. 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 If you kind of elide some of them. in the ways that the Greeks might do down here in Sicily and Magna Grecia. King Robert the Fox. I like to take everything in this game, so I probably play at a pace that's absolutely tedious and boring to watch. Hopefully I can fill it with some interesting information and comments about the characters and people. Because they're real people, and a lot of them have real stories that I'm somehow familiar with because of reading things like the Alexiad. The Alexiad mentions deHauteville and his son Bohemond and his wife Sicilgaita. Sicilgaita. Fresende. Fresende. After an ancestor. Gemma. Gunnor. Sicilgaita. Papia. Gunnor. Sicilgaita. Gunnora. Fredescende. A good Norman name. Motild. Flandina. Sibylla. Oh, Sibylla. Like ancient Greek in the Odyssey. Should be a Sibyl. Fredescende. Well, her mother wants to name her Fredescende, so we'll go with Fredescende. Taking my subtle hints as act of encouragement, Count Joffrey has funded nothing less than a large-scale irrigation project in the county of Rossano. Might be an overstepping of boundaries in a lot of ways, but with the techniques employed, county of Rossano could become richer than it ever has before. Well-funded irrigation project, development growth. Oh, see? Okay. We should monitor this faction because it sounds... Oh. Well, they're not very strong. And they have just this one dick who absolutely hates us because we've bullied him and done everything terrible. I absolutely must get something to drink. Have this water. I feel like I'm probably good on electrolytes for now. So I probably don't require anything else. Okay, so... He wants to destroy us, does he? Well, of course he would. The old bastard, Count Richard of Capua, and his wife, Fredescende. No! I just named my daughter Fredescende. Oh, what terrible luck. Oh, well, I still love my sister. My sister still loves me. But her husband does not. I named my daughter after her. And the husband's like, oh, we gotta kill this guy. I hate him. I hate him so much. This rival. He's really mad. He's a profligate. I could sway him. Let's see. Is there anything? There's really nothing we can... Okay, let's see here. Could declare wars. What wars could we declare? Pope Alexander the Gentle. No, we're not going to declare war on the Pope. Yet. He hasn't done anything. Hasn't done anything. He's a good pope. This Pope Alexander the Gentle is look at his learning is 30. He's compassionate, he's forgiving, he's just. He's a mastermind philosopher and a scholar, a traveler. He's a great pope. In fact, maybe we should try to sway the Pope. It's very hard to sway the Pope. Send a gift to the Pope. Oh, I'm greedy, so that's not gonna work. Let's try to sway him. I guess it'll be very hard. We're just gonna try to be friends with the Pope. We want to be friends with the Pope. I don't know. What else can you say? I mean, Il Papa. Il Papa di Popoli. Il Papa di Popoli. He's the father of the people. Of everyone. Il Papa Romani. Il Papa Romani. Con desestiere. Via mia, tagliata. Guarda, sarà mia. Sollten tamim ibn al-Muija. Titles can be created. The Duchy of Sicily and the Duchy of Calabria. Well, the Duchy of Calabria, I could give it to Salerno, perhaps. The Duchy, no, that's the Duchy of Salerno. But the Duchy of Calabria. Would that be intelligent to do? Probably not. I have two duchies, do I? Duchy of Apulia and Duchy of Capua. And I don't want another duchy. Because then I'll have too many duckies. I'll have too many duckies in this one pond. Potentially negotiate an alliance with your brother, Count Richard. No, that's not happening. Grant co-monarch status. Co-monarch status to Prince Bohemond. That would be a big step for him. He's a good kid, but come on, I've still got a lot of years left. I'm only 56. I got another good 10 to 15 years in me. Likely. Look how robust I am. I've got great health. I got great everything. Guiscard. I'm a man of the people. Un uomo di popoli. Popularis. We are a man of entirely different people. We sailed around and came and took this shit. And decided, hey, I'm Sicily now. Look at me. I am king now. Now I am your king. Listen, all of you Italians, I am your king. You were slaves to Romans once. Now you are slaves to me, King Robert the Fox of Sicilia. It's crazy how this happened. Arbitrary, ambitious, greedy. I mean, he's arbitrary and ambitious. Arbitrary. What would an arbitrary man be looking to do right now? Do we have anything on Pisa? No. In Venetia? No. Croatia? Could we just seize some frickin' land from someone? Let's just invade Africa. That's what he would do. I mean, he's greedy and arbitrary and impetuous. He's sick of sitting around, waiting. What should we do? We should probably declare war on Africa or something. What can we do? It's only holy wars, though, so that's gonna drag in. That could drag in an enormous amount of enemies. Holy shit! Look at our. What the? Our levy. We have 10. Oh my gosh! How did that happen? How did that happen? Jesus. Oh, King Robert of England. King Philip of France. That's right, we betrothed our daughters. Married our eldest to King Felipe of France and betrothed the next eldest to King Robert of England. Of course, they're enemies. But we're all friends here. I'm a Norman. I speak the language with you. I became a king down in Sicily. Let's share the wealth. Have some of my... You marry my daughters, and let's do some trading, and let's keep the languid flowing. I think maybe it would be a great idea to invade Africa. Like, except that I have literally... I could give it to my son. I could give it to Bohemond. Make him Lord of Africa. This is the Sultan of Africa. Let's just go ahead and do the old... I didn't Iron Man this one. I usually Iron Man. I think I just forgot to click it when it started because I usually like to get... I usually like it Iron Man. Just like live with your fucking mistakes. You win great. Declare war. Holy war for the Duchy High Chiefdom of Tunis. Oh, we could do it. Maybe. Let's see. Declared war on Sultan Tamim. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go and we'll place a rally point down here. Or we have one in Syracuse. So we'll raise in Syracuse. Lead the army ourselves because of our massive commander advantage. We'll lead a naval invasion of Maldivia. Royal Court Grandeur level. Level 7. How are we comparing to the one day soon we'll overtake King Basilius Constantinos. He'll be so upset. Oh, won't it be so delightful? The old bag. The old bag of Gretchen trash. Oh, Gracia, Gracia, how great thou art, and how lowly. How great and how fucking incredibly annoying and lowly. Yes, of course. Enemy alliance forms. Scheme. Sultan Tamim. Balanced defense. Oh, I shouldn't use an Indian accent. Sultan Tamim. He's doing difficult things, but while his numerous attempts to curry favor have not gone unnoticed, I cannot but feel Count Joffrey's sudden interest in me. I cannot shake the feelings that the man's intentions are not pure. Why can he not? What? You gain 15 stress. Well, Count Joffrey, your Chancellor, wants to be my friend. Cannot shake the feeling that his intentions are not pure. Arbitrary, greedy, ambitious. Arbitrarily, I pick okay. To increase my stress right before going into battle. For absolutely no reason. I hope to catch their army before they join, yes. Following the death sentence of a lowly thief, I asked my son and heir Roger what he thought. He claimed he had learned a lesson about not reaching for more than one can handle. Overreaching can be terribly dangerous. Okay, well, let's siege down the main... Inspired person can be sponsored. Okay. Well, we're currently pretty solvent. She wants to write a magnificent book. Well, I mean, we're in Southern Europe. He wants to go to Southern Europe? Just... Oh, I don't understand. Who's this lady? She wants to write a book. $50 to write a magnificent book. Yeah. The book will be about warfare, of course. Well, that should be good to read later. This guy wanted 124 to go to Southern Europe. Or... Sure. You know, why not? Sponsor this Karaite Ashkenazim to go down... I guess Ashkenazi... Yes, Ashkenazim is plural. 23 learning. Oh, well. Chaste. Well, he's honest, calm. Oh, of course. Administrator, herbalist. I'm glad I supported him. Oh, court grandeur is really something to behold, isn't it? Hmm. The people. Let's try to conquer Africa. This little region's called Africa. It's the Sultanate of Africa. But this is basically traditional Carthage. So we're taking Carthage. The time has come for me to depart upon my adventure, my king, my knight Misha. Oh, Misha. The emissary of El. I don't know, what is Misha? It means something very familiar because I've heard it used a lot as an term of endearment. Misha. Oh, Misha's. Michel is Michael, who is like God. Misha. Who is like him? Michael. Michael. Who is like? I want to possess something truly unique. Bring me something from an exotic animal. Trust your instincts. A tapestry. I trust your instincts. You know, it's good to trust the instincts of your, your, I don't know what to say, underlings, the servants, your people in your employ. You know, it's good to trust their gut intuitions as well as your own. If you selected them properly, and he had some good verifying traits that I thought, yes, this man must be a man of reason and value, a man honest and capable, a true philosopher, a man of words and letters and wisdom, a man of Kabbalah, tradition. I find my beneficiary Tawanet surrounded by scrolls and manuscripts, furiously flipping through pages. There's so many areas of warfare that are worthy of attention: strategy, troop compositions, battle itself. I don't even know where to start. I want the book to be educational or useful to the military. Perhaps something alluding to the nobler areas of the subject, chivalry and prowess. What topic? Yes. What topic does your muse yearn for? I'm rather arbitrary, so I don't really give a shit, as they say. Oh, simple pastures constructed. Oh, 100%. Let us enforce our demands. May you be sewn up alive in the belly of a dead camel. You are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put an end to this bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. Signed, Sultan Tamim ibn al-Muizziz of Africa. So be it. Well, I want to take this and give it to my son Bohemond. Let's disband the army. And, let's say, hey, we just got ourselves a little foothold over here in Carthage. And, the High Chiefdom of Tunis, with its castle holding of Martia, Monastir, Susa. I would grant this to Prince Bohemond of Sicilia. Because he is my eldest son, and I disinherited him from the kingdom, I will give him this land in Africa for him to build his legend. Become a great man, Prince Bohemond. Bohemond. He's a behemoth. Look at him. Robust. Look at him. He's a behemoth. He's a Bohemond. He's a mound of Bohe. He's a Bohemond. Deceitful, cynical, ambitious. Yes, he was disinherited. And I don't know why. I would have to see the research on that. There's probably some historical reasons that this happened before the game. I didn't disinherit him. Legitimacy gained. Oh, now we're the rightful ruler. Yes. Our legitimacy is looking good. We're looking quite legitimate as the King of Sicily. I'm the legitimate King of Sicily, not just some pretender, even though I just came in my Viking ships and conquered you and took it and became the lord of this land, rose from a highwayman to the King of Sicily. Wow. Robert the Fox. Such an interesting story, actually. I want to go back to the Alexiad and read this story. Maybe we'll do that on stream. And like I said, we have their two daughters that are going to be queens of two different kingdoms. Our eldest son, we're going to let be Mucky Muck of Africa. And Prince Roger, the Prince of Fassion, is gonna be our heir. And he is greedy, ambitious, but temperate. And rather rowdy. Oh, sounds familiar. For a moment I shall have to get up and all that. Shucks and I shall put some text on the screen that shall say "Be right back." It will say, oh, I suppose it will say, "Be right back." Chat log mode. Guess. Be right back. I'm gonna take care of some business. I gotta take care of some business. But I'll still be here. I'll come back. You know what we might could do? Might could. Let's see. We could perhaps put on, if there is one, a LibriVox recording of the Alexiad.
The Alexiad, by Anna Komnene, Byzantine Imperial Princess.
Oh, I hate it when it's an AI. That sucks, because that's... Wait.
The Alexiad Anna Komnene Preface. Time in its irresistible and ceaseless flow carries along on its...
That's terrible.
Preface in Chapter 1 of Europe in the Middle Ages by Irna Lifford Plunkett. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer,
Okay, because I'm going to step up for a minute, but I'm going to leave the stream on and I'm going to come back. But here's some...
Europe in the Middle Ages by Irna Lifford Plunkett. Preface. The history of medieval Europe is so vast a subject that the attempt to deal with it in a small compass must entail either severe compression or what may appear at first sight reckless omission. The path of compression has been trodden many times, as in J.H. Robinson's Introduction to the History of Western Europe, or in such series as the Periods of European History published by Messrs. Rivington for students, or textbooks of European history published by the Clarendon Press and Messrs. Methuen. To the authors of all of these, I should like to express my indebtedness both for facts and perspective, as to Mr. H.W. Davis for his admirable summary of the medieval outlook in the Home University Library series. But in spite of so many authorities covering the same ground, I venture to claim for the present book a pioneer path of omission. It may be reckless, but yet, I believe, justifiable. It has been my object not so much to supply students with facts as to make medieval Europe live, for the many who, knowing nothing of her history, would like to know a little, in the lives of her principal heroes and villains, as well as in the tendencies of her classes, and in the beliefs and prejudices of her thinkers. This task I have found even more difficult than I had expected, for limits of space have insisted on the omission of many events and names which I would have wished to include. These I have sacrificed to the hope of creating reality and arousing interest, and if I have in any way succeeded, I should like to pay my thanks first of all to Mr. Henry Osborne Taylor for his 2 volumes of The Medieval Mind that have been my chief inspiration, and then to the many authors whose names and books I give elsewhere, and whose researches have enabled me to tell my tale. Irna L. Plunkett. Chapter 1. The Greatness of Rome. Ave, Roma Immortalis. Hail, immortal Rome. This cry, breaking from the lips of a race that carried the imperial eagles from the northern shores of Europe to Asia and to Africa, was no mere patriotic catchword. It was the expression of a belief that, though humanity must die and personal ambitions fade away, yet Rome herself was eternal and unconquerable, and what was wrought in her name would outlast the ages. In the modern world, it is sometimes necessary to remind people of their citizenship, but the Roman never forgot the greatness of his inheritance. When St. Paul, bound with thongs and condemned to be scourged, declared, "I am Roman-born," the captain of the guard, who had only gained his citizenship by paying a large sum of money, was afraid of the prisoner on whom he had laid hands without a trial. To be a Roman, however, apparently poor and defenseless, was to walk the earth protected by a shield that none might set aside save at great peril. Not to be a Roman, however rich and of high standing, was to pass in Roman eyes as a barbarian, a creature of altogether inferior quality and repute. "Be it thine, O Roman," says Virgil, the greatest of Latin poets, "to govern the nations with thy imperial rule." And such indeed was felt by Romans to be the destiny of their race. Stretching on the west through Spain and Gaul to the Atlantic, that vast sea of darkness beyond which, according to popular belief, the earth dropped suddenly into nothingness, the outposts of the empire in the east looked across the plains of Mesopotamia toward Persia and the kingdoms of Central Asia. Babylon the wondrous, Syria and Palestine with its turbulent Jewish population, Egypt the kingdom of the pharaohs long ere Romulus the city builder slew his brother, Carthage the queen of the Mediterranean commerce, all were now Roman provinces, their luster dimmed by a glory greater than they had ever known. The Mediterranean, once the battleground of rival powers, had become an imperial lake, the high road of the grain ships that sailed perpetually from Spain and Egypt to feed the central market of the world. For Rome, like England today, was quite unable to satisfy her population from home cornfields. The fleets that brought the necessaries of life conveyed also shiploads of oriental luxuries, silks, jewels, and perfumes, transported from Ceylon and India in trading sloops to the shores of the Red Sea and thence by caravans of camels to the port of Alexandria. Other trade routes than the Mediterranean were a vast network of roads that, like the threads of a spider's web, kept every part of the empire, however remote, in touch with the center from which their common fate was spun. At intervals of 6 miles were post houses, provided each with 40 or more horses, that imperial messengers speeding to or from the capital with important news might dismount and mount again at the different stages, hastening on their way with undiminished speed. How firm and well made were their roads we know today, when, after the lapse of nearly 19 centuries of traffic, we use and praise them still. They hold in their strong foundations one secret of their maker's greatness, that the Roman brought to his handiwork the thoroughness inspired by a vision not merely of something that should last a few years or even his lifetime, but that should endure like the city he believed eternal. It was the boast of Augustus, 27 BC through AD 14, the first of the Roman emperors, that he had found his capital built of brick and had left it marble, and his tradition as an architect passed to his successors. There are a few parts of what was once the Roman Empire that possess no trace today of massive aqueduct, or forum, or public baths, or stately colonnades. In Rome itself, the Colosseum, the scene of so many a martyr's death and gladiator's struggle. Elsewhere, as at Nimes in southern France, a provincial amphitheater. The aqueduct of Segovia in Spain, the baths in England that have made and named a town, the walls that mark the outposts of empire, all are the witnesses of a genius that dared to plan greatly, nor spared expense or labor in carrying out its designs. Those who have visited the border country between England and Scotland know the Emperor Hadrian's Wall, 20 feet high by 7 feet broad, constructed to keep out the fierce Picts and Scots from this most northern of his possessions. Those of the enemy that scaled the top would find themselves faced by a ditch and further wall bristling with spears, while the legions flashed their summons for reinforcements from guardhouse to guardhouse along the 70 miles of this massive barrier. All that human labor could do had made the position impregnable. A scheme of fortifications was also attempted in Central Europe, along the lines of the Rhine and the Danube. These rivers provided the third of the imperial trade routes, and it is well to remember them in this connection, for their importance as highways lasted right through Roman and medieval into modern times. Railways have altered the face of Europe. They have cut through her waste places and turned them into thriving centers of industry. They have looped up her mines and ports and tunneled her mountains. There is hardly a corner of any land where they have not penetrated, and the change they have made is so vast that it is often difficult to imagine the world before their invention. In Roman times, in neighborhoods where the sea was remote and road traffic slow and inconvenient, there only remained the earliest of all means of transport, the rivers. The Rhine and the Danube, one flowing northwest, the other southeast, both neither too swift nor too sluggish for navigation, were the natural main high roads of Central Europe. They were also an obvious barrier between the empire and barbarian tribes. To connect the Rhine and the Danube at their sources by a massive wall, to establish forts with strong garrisons at every point where these rivers could easily be forded, such were the precautions by which wise emperors planned to shut in Rome's civilization and to keep out all who would lay violent hands upon it. The Emperor Augustus left a warning to his successors that they should be content with these natural boundaries, lest in pushing forward to increase their territory, they should in reality weaken their position. It is easy to agree with this view, centuries afterwards, when we know that the defenses of the empire, pushed ever forward, snapped at the finish like an elastic band. But the average Roman of imperial days believed his nation equal to any strain. It was a boast of the army that Roman banners never retreat. If then a tribe of barbarians were to succeed in fording the Danube and in surprising some outpost force, the legions sent to punish them would clamor not merely to exact vengeance and return home, but to conquer and add the territory to the empire. In the case of swamps or forest land, the clamor might be checked, but where there was pasturage or good agricultural soil, it would be almost irresistible. Emigrants from crowded Italy would demand leave to form a colony. Traders would hasten in their footsteps, and soon another responsibility of land and lives, perhaps with no natural protection of river, sea, or mountains, would be added to Rome's burden of government. Such was the fertile province of Dacia, north of the Danube, a notable gain in territory, but yet a future source of weakness. At the head of the empire stood the emperor, Caesar Augustus, the commander-in-chief of the army, the supreme authority in the state, the fountain of justice, a god before whose altar every loyal Roman must burn incense and bow the knee in reverence. It was a great change from the old days when Rome was a republic, and her senate or council of leading citizens had been responsible to the rest of the people for their good or bad government. The historian Tacitus, looking back from imperial days with a sigh of regret, says that in that happy age man could speak what was in his mind without fear of his neighbors, and draws the contrast with his own time, when the emperor's spies wormed their way into house and tavern, paid to betray those about them to prison or death for some chance word or incautious action. Yet Rome by her conquests had brought on herself the tyranny of the empire. It is comparatively easy to rule a small city well, where fraud and self-seeking can be quickly detected. But when Rome began to extend her boundaries and to employ more people in the work of government, unscrupulous politicians appeared. These built up private fortunes during their term in office. They became senators, and in the Senate ceased to represent the will of the people and began to govern in the interests of a small group of wealthy men. Members of their families became governors of provinces, first in Italy and then, as conquest continued, across the mountains in Gaul and Spain and beyond the seas in Egypt and Asia Minor. Except in name, senators and governors ceased to be simple citizens and lived as princes, with officials and servants ready to carry out their slightest wish. Perhaps it may seem odd that the Roman people, once so fond of liberty that they had driven into exile the kings who oppressed them, should afterwards let themselves be bullied or neglected by 100 petty tyrants. But in truth, the people had changed even more than the class of patricians to whom they found themselves in bondage. No longer pure Roman or Latin, but through conquest and intermarriage of every race from the stalwart Teuton to the supple Oriental or swarthy Egyptian, few amongst the men and women crowding the streets of Rome remembered or reverenced the traditions of her early days. Rome stood for military glory, luxury, culture, at her best for even-handed justice, but no longer for an ideal of liberty. If national pride was satisfied and adequate food and amusement provided, the Roman populace was content to be ruled from above and to hail rival senators as masters according to the extent of their promises and successes. A failure to fulfill such promises, resulting in a lost campaign or a dearth of corn, would throw the military tyrant of the moment from his pedestal, but only to set up another in his place. It was an easy transition from the rule of a corrupt Senate to that of an autocrat. Better one tyrant than many was the attitude of mind of the average citizen toward Octavius Caesar, when, under the title of Augustus, he gathered to himself the supreme command over army and state, and so became the first of the emperors. Had he been a tactless man and shouted his triumph to the 7 hills, he would probably have fallen a victim to an assassin's knife. But he skillfully disguised his authority and posed as being only the first magistrate of the state. Under his guiding hand, the Senate was reformed, and its outward dignity rather increased than shorn. Augustus could issue his own edicts or commands independently of the Senate's consent, but he more frequently preferred to lay his measures before it and to let them reach the public as a senatorial decree. In this he ran no risk, for the senators, impressive figures in the eyes of the ordinary citizen, were really puppets of his creation. At any minute he could cast them away. His fellow magistrates were equally at his mercy, for in his hands alone rested the supreme military command, the imperium, from which the title of imperator or emperor was derived. At first he accepted the office only for 10 years, but at the end of that time, resigning it to a submissive Senate, he received it again amid shouts of popular joy. The tyranny of Augustus had proved a blessing. Instead of corps of troops raised here and there in different provinces by governors at war with one another, and thus divided in their allegiance, there had begun to develop a disciplined army whose legions were enrolled, paid, and dismissed in the name of the all-powerful Caesar, and who therefore obeyed his commands, rather than those of their immediate captains. The same system of centering all authority in one absolute ruler was followed in the civil government. Governors of provinces, once petty rulers, became merely servants of the state. Caesar sent them from Rome. He appointed the officials under them. He paid them their salaries, and to him they must give an account of their stewardship. If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Such was the threat that induced Pontius Pilate, governor of Judea in the reign of Tiberius, to condemn to death a man he knew to be innocent of crime. This is but one of many stories that show the dread of the emperor's name in Rome's far distant provinces. Governors, military commanders, judges, tax collectors, all the vast army of officials who bore the responsibility of government on their shoulders had an ultimate appeal from their decisions to Caesar, and were exalted by his smile or trembled at his frown. It is not a modern notion of good government, this complete power vested in one man, but Rome nearly 2,000 years ago was content that a master should rule her, so long as he would guarantee prosperity and peace at home. This, under the early Caesars, was at least secured. 2 fleets patrolled the Mediterranean, but their vigilance was not needed, save for an occasional brush with pirates. Naught but storms disturbed her waters. The legions on the frontiers, whether in Syria or Egypt or along the Rhine and Danube, kept the barbarians at bay until Romans ceased to think of war as a trade to which every man might one day be called. It was a profession left to the few, the many content to pay the taxes required by the state and to devote themselves to a civilian's life. To one would fall the management of a large estate, another would stand for election to a government office, a third would become a lawyer or a judge. Others would keep shops or taverns or work as hired laborers, while below these again would be the class of slaves, whether prisoners of war sold in the marketplace or citizens deprived of their freedom for crime or debt. In Rome itself was a large population living in uncomfortable lodging houses very like the slum tenements of a modern city. Some of the inhabitants would be engaged in casual labor, some idle. But when the empire was at its zenith, lavish gifts of corn from the government stood between this otherwise destitute population and starvation. It crowded the streets to see Caesar pass, threw flowers on his chariot, and hailed him as emperor and god, and in return he bestowed on it food and amusements. The huge amphitheaters of Rome and her provinces were built to satisfy the public desire for pageantry and sport. And because life was held cheap, and for all his boasted civilization, the Roman was often a savage at heart, he would spend his holidays watching the despised sect of Christians thrown to the lions, or hired gladiators fall in mortal struggle. We, about to die, salute thee. With these words, the victims of an emperor's lust of bloodshed bent the knee before the imperial throne, and at Caesar's nod passed to slay or be slain. The emperor's scepter did not bring mercy, but order, justice, and prosperity above the ordinary standard of the age. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2, Europe in the Middle Ages by Ierna Lifford Plunkett. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 2, The Decline of Rome. The years of Rome's greatness seemed to her sons an age of gold, but even at the height of her prosperity, there were traces of the evils that brought about her downfall. An autocracy, that is, the rule of one man, might be a perfect form of government were the autocrat not a man but a god, thus combining superhuman goodness and understanding with absolute power. Unfortunately, Roman emperors were representatives of human nature in all its phases. Some, like Augustus, were great rulers. Others, though good men, incompetent in the management of public affairs, whilst not a few led evil lives and regarded their office as a means of gratifying their own desires. The Emperor Nero, for instance, was cruel and profligate, guilty of the murder of his half-brother, mother, and wife, and also of the deaths of numberless senators and citizens whose wealth he coveted. Because he was an absolute ruler, his corrupt officials were able to bribe and oppress his subjects as they wished, until he was, fortunately, assassinated. He was the last of his line, the famous House of Julius, to which Augustus had belonged, and the period that followed his death was known as the Year of the Four Emperors, because during that time, no less than 4 rivals claimed and struggled for the coveted honor. Nominally, the right of election lay with the Senate, but the final champion, Vespasian, was not even a Roman nor an aristocrat, but a soldier from the provinces. He had climbed the ladder of fame by sheer endurance and his power of managing others, and his accession was a triumph not for the Senate, but the legions who had supported him and who had now learned their power. Henceforth, it would be the soldier with his naked sword who could make and unmake emperors, and especially the Praetorian Guard, whose right it was to maintain order in Rome. The gradual recognition of this idea had a disastrous effect on the government of the empire. Too often, the successful general of a campaign on the frontier would remember Vespasian and become obsessed with the thought that he also might be a Caesar. Led by ambition, he would hold out to his legions hopes of the rewards they would receive were he crowned in Rome, and some sort of a bargain would be struck, lowering the tone of the army by corrupting its loyalty and making its soldiers insolent and grasping. The Senate attempted to deal with this difficulty of the succession by passing a law that every emperor should, during his lifetime, name his successor, and that the latter should at once be hailed as Caesar, take a secondary share in the government, and have his effigy printed on coins. In this way, he would become known to the whole Roman world, and when the emperor died, would at once be acknowledged in his place. Thus, the Romans hoped to establish the theory that England expresses today in the phrase, "the king never dies." Though to a certain extent successful in their efforts to avoid civil war, they failed to arrest other evils that were undermining the prosperity of the government. One of these was the imperial expenditure. It was only natural that the emperor should assume a magnificence and a liberality in excess of his wealthiest subjects, but in addition he found it necessary to buy the allegiance of the Praetorian Guard and to keep the Roman populace satisfied in its demands for free corn and expensive amusements. The standard of luxury had grown, and Romans no longer admired, except in books, the simple life of their forefathers. Instead, the fashionable ideal was that of the East they had enslaved, and the emperor was gradually shut off from the mass of his subjects by a host of court officials who thronged his antechambers and exacted heavy bribes for admission. In this unhealthy atmosphere, suspicion and plots grew apace like weeds, and money dripped through the imperial fingers as through a sieve, now into the pockets of one favorite, now of another. "I have lost a day," was said by the Emperor Titus, whenever 24 hours had passed without his having made some valuable present to those about him. His courtiers were ready to fall on their knees and hail him for his liberality as darling of the human race. But he only reigned for 2 years. Had he lived to exhaust his treasury, it is probable that the greedy thong would have passed a different verdict. Extravagance is as catching as the plague, and the Roman aristocracy did not fail to copy the imperial example. Just as the emperor was surrounded by a court, so every noble of importance had his following of clients, who would wait submissively on his doorstep in the morning and attend him when he walked abroad to the forum or the public baths. Some would be idle gentlemen, the penniless younger sons of noble houses, others professional poets ready to write flattering verses to order, others again famous gladiators whose long death roll of victims had made them as popular in Rome as a champion tennis player or footballer in England of today. All were united in the one hope of gaining something from their patron, perhaps a gift of money, or his influence to secure them a coveted office, at least an invitation to a banquet or feast. The class of senators to which most of these aristocrats belonged had grown steadily richer as the years of empire increased, building up immense landed properties, something like the feudal estates of a later date. These villas, as they were called, were miniature kingdoms over which their owners had secured absolute power. Their affairs were administered by an agent, probably a favored slave who had gained his freedom, assisted by a small army of officials. The principal subjects of the landlord would be the small proprietors of farms who paid a rent or did various services in return for their houses, while below these again would be a larger number of actual slaves employed as household servants, bakers, shoemakers, shepherds, and the like. The most striking thing about the Roman villa was that it was absolutely self-contained. All that was needed for the life of its inhabitants, whether food or clothing, could be grown and manufactured on the estate. The crimes that were committed there would be judged by the master or his agent, and from the former's decision there would be little hope of appeal. Where the proprietor was harsh or selfish, miserable indeed was the condition of those condemned to live on his villa. The income of the average senator in the 4th century AD was about 60,000 pounds, a very large sum when money was not as plentiful as it is today. Aurelius Symmachus, a young senator, typical...
It's pretty interesting. The villa system of villas. A villange. You have your nice villa, and people show up around it. Build a villange. And that little village becomes too noisy. Becomes a town like Palermo. So noisy. We must retreat to our fine holdings and we would go over here to the barony of Lentini, bishopric of Catania. Bring up my chat on the phone. All right, so let's see. Titles can be created. Yeah, we know about that. You can negotiate an alliance with your son. Potentially negotiate. Or negotiate. It seems to be... I mean, why wouldn't we just say, yes, we're allied with you. That way, if anyone declares war on them down there, I mean, I guess you have to declare war on me already, so it doesn't really matter. Basileus, Constantinus, Kaiser Heinrich, wir. Chieftain Amt Allah ibn Said. Amt Allah. Tripolitania. What's the Duke? The all of Tripolitania? What? Holy Toledo. Well, that may be worth doing. So this. Oh my goodness! We could. Oh, Scheiß. Und. Scheiß und Fahrten. This is incredible. Incredible nonsense. We could conquer Tripolitania and Cyrenasia. 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 Tripolitania. Cyrenasia. Holy word for Duchy. That's a pretty freaking incredible amount of land that we could gain here. This would be a much harder one. Tripolitanian looks pretty doable. The only risk is if some Ashari ruler wants to intervene. Or Caliph Muhammad II ibn al-Qaim. Muhammad ibn al-Qaim. Well, what shall we do? Guess we do what we do before. I really should have done an Iron Man save, so I don't know. Because I don't want to save scum, so I don't even know why I'm doing it, but... I feel dumb not having done an Iron Man save. Can you turn it into an Iron Man save? Can you be like, hey, make this game Iron Man now? Game rules. Disable? No, you can't turn on Iron Man, huh? Ducks. Ducks and geese. Ducks and ducats. And that's what life is all about, isn't it? Isn't it, Edgar Hilario 79? Alright. Well, suppose we're doing nothing interesting, so we might as well just try to invade Tripolitania. The High Chiefdom of Tripolitania. What could go wrong? I suppose almost anything. But I'm arbitrary and greedy, and I only have so many years left to conquer my enemies. And I want to carve out an empire for my coming generations, so that they shall rule the central Mediterranean and control the trade of all the Mediterranean Sea. By controlling all of this passage of water. Don't you see? Controlling this is control of the world's trade. The known world's trade. I could control the trade of Western Europe with the Middle East. I could control the gold and silver trade. I could control everything. We must leap across the ocean and create. Of course you have an English accent when you say all this. We must invade. We must be imperialist assholes. That is the English way. Yes. I am an Englishman, so... And an Irishman and a Scotsman. I'm a mutt. As most Americans are. So, anyway. Okay, so, yes. We have this. But, I am known for my dedication to the faith. I'm faithful. I would be glad to call you an ally, Dad. Thanks. Thanks, little guy. That means the world to me, little Prince Bohemind. You're my son. That's cute. Or whatever. Let's go take over. Oh wait, my beneficiary. Tawara approaches me with a thoughtful expression. Is there anyone special to you, my lord? She must read my irritation at such a personal question from my face, because she continues. I mean, is there anyone you wish to dedicate your commissioned artifact to? It is Tananite, well, but a meaningful inscription would make it feel even more personal. Oh, only the Lord guides me. Well, we could use the piety. She already loves me at the maximum amount, so only the Lord guides me now. And he guides me to conquer Tripolitania. Because we are Dick. Giant Dick. Robert the Fox. Fort Regalia, sponsor. Yes, forge some regalia for me. Some peaches and regalia. The eclectic mix of people in southern Italy and Sicily has given rise to a unique culture. They no longer see themselves as Greek, but as native Sicilians. An interesting development. The culture of Rossano changes to Sicilian. Sicily. What a place. Well, Rossano. A few trite relics so far in my adventures. I have sent with this courtier, but I am unsure what I may uncover next. This sounds more like, the Europeans are the smelliest creatures I have encountered. He went to Southern Europe from Southern Europe. I don't know. He's like, the Europeans are so smelly here. And I'm like, you talking about me? What are you talking about? Where are you going? What Southern Europeans are you visiting from Sicily? How much more Southern Europe you? Oh, does he mean over here? It's like he went north to go to Southern Europe from. We're so far south. Okay. Quest. This isn't a holiday. Quest on, you duck. I'm arbitrary and greedy and just a frickin' duck. Fingernails of St. Margaret will go right there. Her fingernails, and I don't know the story of them. St. Margaret of Antioch was famed for slaying a dragon using the heels of her shoes alone. Supposedly, these old disgusting fingernails cuts belonged to her. Okay. Weird. Some of that stuff's pretty weird. Yeah, let's just collect people's like finger bones and shit. It's cool. Yeah, I found a personal physician earlier in the game, and his name is Errand. He's my errand boy. Thanks, errand boy, for all your errands. But he's pretty smart and everything. Well, fairly. No. Bleeder. Well, that's not good, is it? Ill. Wise man, herbalist. You know. Simple pastures constructed. This is a leisurely game for gentlemen. Let's... I could call allies to the wall, but I have no need. Though we are going to overtake them privily. Excuse me. Excusez-moi. Excuse-me. M'excuse. My knight Erp insists that the funds I have supplied him are not enough. Okay. Well, I can't afford it, so make do with what you have. Sorry, kid. I'm invading Tripolitania right now. I'm busy. And you're a dick. So, eat a dick. I guess. Alright. Or should we go for the battle? I guess let's try to see if he's just gonna run away though. Oh, he's not running. He's not running. Better over. Now we should go Jafar. That's where Jafar is from. You know that the setting of Aladdin was actually Aladdin was in China in the 100,001 Arabian Nights, I mean. Prisoners can be ransomed 23 out of 50. Okay, so let's recruit Arsenio. We need some more knight things. We deserve knight things. 21 out of 23. Approaching a good thing. Fickle Philip. I bump into a very grave-looking Tawaret, my writer, hoping that she doesn't bring ill news. Is she imprisoned? No, it's a different Tawaret. Tawaret, my writer, she... Oh, there you are, my liege. I've hit a wall in my work. Nothing major. My ideas have gone to ground as the pressure mounts. I just need some inspiration. To the library. To the library. Okay. Why would you pick the negative one? I don't... Inspiration. Bandits on the road. Oh, so... Oh. keep laying low. They'll intrigue challenge again 0%. No guts, no glory. Oh, it's 41% chance he dies. 68 chance he is straight wounded. Well, this one he would either die or get wounded, so 31% chance you get an adventure inspiration. Oh. With a final heave, dull breath and I burst into my dusty library, a room I rarely have cause to enter. She does a few rounds of the room before returning to me, crestfallen. My liege! There's nothing here that stands out to me. Is there anything else? There must be something lying around. Well, fuck it. What can you do? You can ask your head of faith for gold. Whoa. Because he likes me now. He will accept. Wow. The Italian vulgar language. Gross. Don't learn vulgar Italian. That's just... Yeah, it's just coarse words. Inspiration realized. My beneficiary Tavaret. My book, my masterpiece is finished. Behold! The Book of Norman Chivalry. Prestige. Okay. Attraction opinion. Monthly martial experience. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Patronage. Fund an inspired characters project. Okay. A traveler claiming to be employed under my knight Michel is for. Fear not, my great lord, for Michel is in good health. I bring you news of the possibility to fund an even greater adventure. Oh, great. Fund. It's now near... Where is that? Where? What? Is he Tibetan? No. Why doesn't it have like a go-to location thing? Am I just missing it? They should have a... Some way to see what... Sounds like something way over here. I don't have 60, so... yeah, there you go. Oh, maybe I'll change my council guy. This increased county control in the county of Malta. Malta's bad. Syracuse is okay. Unlock new perk for the lifestyle. Okay. New hard ruler or courtship. Hard ruler. Pretty freaking good, dude. Overseer gives you stewardship and marshal. That's pretty freaking good, dude. You can call your ally, King Robert Curtos. Oh. Oh, shit. I wasn't paying attention, and they've built an army. Oh, they're just going to run away, are they? Maybe I'll ambush them from behind. Like your mother. Wow, that was very rude of me. Seems like it's maybe not going well for me, but, you know, I have a very good general. Oh! Oh! A lot of dead. Oh, victory! Ah, victory! Our seneschal has died, but over here, my lord, my knight Erp waves me over. I have toiled many days and nights, and finally my work is done. He presents me with an object wrapped in cloth, and as I lift the fabric, my eyes grow wide. Beautiful regalia set of excellent craftsmanship. Excellent regalia, fertility, piety, prestige, short reindeer. This is lovely. Absolutely lovely. Oh, what's that? Okay. Go here. Equip our regalia into a book of Norman chivalry. And, yes. Our court grandeur is looking quite good. I mean, being second in the world, we're better than the Seljuks. Yeah. And the pagans. Pagan. And who's even heard of Minjinja? Minjinja. Is that in Africa or in Minjinja? Is that in Africa or in India? What do you think? Minjinja. Oh, it's way over here. It's on the edge of China. Soon they're going to add all of Asia. And I'm very excited about that, actually. It's going to be the coolest thing ever devised by man. Maybe not ever devised by man, but it's pretty cool to have a history simulator that can go through all of those. There. Enforce our demands. Enforce. So be it. Sicilia rules. Sicilia rules the waves. We own this strait now. See, we own this. Our naval supremacy will be unlike any that anyone has ever seen. We're gonna tax everybody who tries to cross right between here. And if they try to go through there, well, obviously they'll be taxed twice as much for being ridiculous. Yes. Hiya, sweetheart. Come here, sweetheart. My kitty cat's over there. Inventory. Above domain limit. Yeah, I have to figure out what to do about that. That much is true. Wadden's declared war on me? Is that What happened? Or I took over the war because they were trying to conquer Tripolitania while I was conquering Tripolitania. And now I'm the ruler of Tripolitania, so... But I am going to wreck them momentarily. My search has led me to the dry lands of Bukhara. They're notoriously lion-infested, but I have a good reason to think that my goal is near. Expect my return soon. Signed, Michel. The scroll reads, he surely is ambitious to choose such a risky path. His knowledge should keep him safe. Yeah. 99% good, so... Yeah. My lord! My knight Michiel announced his arrival in a surprisingly loud voice. He holds up a package securely wrapped in cloth. Hide of the notorious lion of Bugrara. I returned from southern Europe. We're in southern Europe. We are... You can't get any more southern Europe than... What do you mean when you say... Bugrara is not in southern Europe. Bugrara? So we'll have to find that. We'll have to type it in. Battle of Bugrara. That's down here. Wait. We're in Bugrara right now? They're near Bugrara? And this arsehole thinks this is Europe. He says, I'm going to southern Europe. That's what he called it. Mate, you're North Africa. Southern Europe. Oh yes, let's just start calling Africa. There's Europe. Northern Europe. Southern Europe. The entire continent of Africa. Yes, that's just southern Europe now. And now that Africans have conquered Europe, then now that they just let Africans just take over Europe, then there you go. The enemy banner will make a fine addition. On Tobruk. Well, there'll be a great battle here in like 8 centuries. Well, 9 centuries. Yeah. How about we enforce our demands? You pay me, and you stop being a dick. Things are getting rather spicy around here, aren't they? Yes, I do want to offload these African provinces. I might just give them to the son and just let him have all of this over here. If he breaks off and creates his own thing, then he does that. I don't care. But could we create a duchy? Should feudalize tribal holdings. Okay. Feudalize. How do we feudalize tribe? Oh, yes. Oh, cost enormous amount of money. You guys suck. That's... Okay, Prince Bormon, you're great at some stuff, though. And this guy's not that great of a spy master, so yeah, of course. Put him on with my son. There you go. He's my spy master. He's a good kid. Loves me. Count Robert Lanciano. Well, you know, Count Robert, perhaps you would like to have one of these many titles of no worth at all to me down here. How about you take the county of Jafara? Grant. Now you like me, so that's good. And Count Joffrey, is my Chancellor, vassal, and knight, you've been a loyal servant, haven't you? So you take the county of Tripolitania. I will grant that title to you. And, let's see. A marshal, he's a duke. Oh, he's the Duke of Salerno. I've given him pretty much everything already. So what can we do? What can we do? You should feudalize county. Yes, I should, but it's going to cost an enormous amount of money, and I don't have it. So I should feudalize them. Yes, thanks. I would love to feudalize them. Duchy of Tripolitania. Yeah, I can make one of them a duke. $250 gold to create the Duchy of Tripolitania, which I would then gift to Count Robert. You know, he's my nephew, and just try to keep your family close, keep them well supplied, and so on. Courtiers. Council. Okay, so we need to find someone. Okay, well, sorting by rank doesn't do anything. Age. Sort by their stewardship. Ah, my Albanian knight is pretty good. You know, Michel did do all of that stuff. And he came back, and, you know, I will grant him the county of Djerba, which includes the land of the place where he got that lion. I don't care. I'll do it. I made a Jewish guy own this Muslim territory and a Christian kingdom. This is probably a terrible idea. And now he totally hates me. Whoa, absolute. I gave him. Oh, well. Isn't that just the way? You go out of your way to help a chap, and he just immediately turns on you. Oh, it happens every time. Oh well. There we are. There we are. I thought I would reward him for being such a good knight. But now he's just a freaking arsehole. Just happens to be. I see a pattern. What she want? She wants to make a box. Okay. You can make a box. I have 2 new card artifacts. Large wall ornament, Sabrukian wall banner, and you can do. Okay, wait. That's the hide of the. Real Dynasty Mountain. No, I think that's better. Alright. I don't need that one. I need that gold. Give me that gold, baby. Thank you. I need the gold. I want the gold. Oh, good. My spouse increased in prowess on the battlefield. Isn't that great? My wife knows how to fight better. Pay ransom. Sultana. Oh. Accept. I accept. Yes. Of course. Of course. We'll accept a reasonable offer like that. Why not? We're good Christian folk. We're not oppressive invaders at all. We didn't just invade your land for no reason and then take your wife captive, and then you came to us with money and demanded and offered the money to us in exchange for her release. No, that's not human trafficking or anything terrible. That's not despicable behavior. We're just a normal medieval guy. Just your average medieval male. How very, very good it is to be King Robert the Fox. The fox is in the hen house. And you know what that means, then? Right. I had to edit his appearance to be more like the portraits of him. Roger deHauteville, oh man, this is... Everything's so expensive. Everything's so expensive to do. Like real life. It's like real life, guys. No. Everything's so expensive to do. Oh my god. It's like real life. Faction targets Michael created an independence faction. That ingrate. This little bastard. You piece of shit. You literal... You know what? I'll demand your conversion. I demand your conversion. Demand it. You piece of trash. You will pay the price in this world. No, yeah, I can imprison you now, huh? Yes, I don't care. Rally the troops. Oh, pause it, and then go here. Create a new rally point and just put them down. The rally system in this is kind of insane. I guess they'll take an amount of time to get there that is equal to their distance. It just automatically does it for you. Why would you ever agree to this, Joffrey? Joffrey? No. Why don't we go crush him over there? I can't believe this. I gave this fine, you know, this fine Jewish gentleman, he was a knight of mine, and he did a good job, and I gave him land, and then he hated me for it. He hated me. And so... And now, I demanded his conversion, and he said no. And, well, looks like things are getting rough. And I don't know even why we're doing this. It's crazy. It's craziness. Inspiration up late, drinking wine as we excitedly discuss the box she is creating for me. Am I imagining thing, or is there indescribable tension? Oh my goodness. Lisham. I have met a lady who looks almost exactly like you in real life. That's funny. Come here, she becomes my lover. Slightly lower quality. I gain piety. She's disappointed. Might be a slightly lower quality. Or she's disappointed in me and I'm pious. Well, you can... I don't know about you, lady. What a dick. This guy. Enforce demands. Valuable prisoners. Gain 24 dread. 50 legitimacy. Enforce demands. You imprisoned Count Michel. So be it. What a dick. I mean, come on. I gave you land and I was trying to be nice to you. I grant you a pardon, you'll probably try to kill me. You have a 0 intrigue, so I guess that doesn't matter. I tried to be nice to you, though. Because you're cool. thought you were cool. Do you have money? Can't afford it. You know, grant pardon. Gain 15 opinion. I don't think that's going to make a dent. Offensive war. Low legitimacy expectation. 3 more. Revoke title. Within 1 year, so I can wait a while and then revoke it. Alright. I'll do that. Demand a hostage. Well, things are growing for the Kingdom of Sicily, for sure. I think perhaps that's where I'll end it for today. A good time had by all, I hope. And just trying to make the streams high quality and get on with them in a good way, and also all those things there. Perhaps I should have put my thing up here in the upper left corner, so you could see the bottom right corner. There's nothing there in the upper left. That would have been smarter. Didn't take that into account. Alright, well, I'll do better next time. And as always, God bless you, chat. God bless you wherever you are.